I want to talk to you a little bit about playing the melody. And I auditioned for Bill Monroe back in 1975, backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, and I thought I was playing the melody for him. And they said, "You pick good, boy, but stick to the melody." And so some years later, I played on Alison Krauss's first album, and she sent a practice tape along so I could learn some of the songs with her singing on them. She was probably, I think, literally 15 at the time. And rather than sort of playing the melody, I had the idea to play the solo the way she was actually singing it, phrase it the way she was singing the lyrics, the words. And suddenly my roles all came out a little bit differently, and it was just, everything kind of freshened up after I did that. And then I forgot about it for a while, and then some years later I was at a workshop, and John Hartford showed up. It was kind of this bluegrass week down in West Virginia, and John Hartford showed up. And I asked him to sit in on my class, and he started talking about how Earl Scruggs would play the syllables of a tune and actually try to sing through the banjo. And if you ever saw John Hartford in person playing the banjo, doing a solo show or not, he might kick off a song, not singing, but playing a banjo solo, but he might do, let's say, "Roll in My Sweet Baby's Arms," something like this. And he'd kind of look out at the audience and smile and just kind of be lip-syncing the words without actually singing them. And I thought this was just kind of a nice stage thing he would do to endear himself to the audience, and it did. But when he was sitting in on my workshop, he said he would do that so he could really be thinking about what are the words and try to get the fingers to connect to the words coming out of his mouth, or that he's shaping with his mouth without actually singing. And that reminded me of what I had done playing on Alison Krauss's first album, and that idea of playing the syllables. And John was saying how Earl Scruggs would play the syllables. And I did an interview with Earl and his wife Louise, and Louise said, "Yeah, now you know Earl plays the syllables." And John had already alerted me to that. So it's really an important thing, and it kind of helps you with playing in different keys without a capo and playing up the neck. But to give you an example, I'm going to play a little bit of Country Roads, John Denver's song Country Roads. And this is note for note how Earl Scruggs played it on his recording, American Made World Played, from the 80s. And if you sing along with that, he's playing the syllables. And especially one of the techniques he would use to really bring out the melody and the syllables is playing quarter notes rather than all eighth notes. By playing quarter notes, especially something like Mountain Mama, rather than going and having a flurry of notes, he just played the bare notes. Mountain Mama. 4 quarter notes in a row makes a banjo player nervous because you got to keep that flow going. But once I realized, I transcribed the solo, and I realized, wow, he's just playing 4 quarter notes with nothing else around him. This is great. And I started applying it to other tunes. I've got some of these things on my Tony Trischka School of Banjo site online, one of which is "Roll in My Sweet Baby's Arms." I started off this little segment by playing Earl's version from 1950-51 from Mercury Records, which again is... And you hear this roll, this lick keep recurring. And there's not really, even though it's Earl Scruggs and we're talking about how he played the syllables, back then he played that for the melody, and it's great. It's nothing better. And sometimes we call it Scruggs noise, or it's just Scruggs sounds. It's not actually a melody per se. But if you want to really play the melody and play the syllables of "Roll in My Sweet Baby's Arms," it can come out something like this. So you're really playing the melody, you're playing the words, you're trying to play the syllables. And so that's how it would sound in G doing that. I mean, that's what I came up with. You could come up with something that would be different. And, but then let's say you want to play in the key of C. A lot of banjo players don't even play in C because you're so used to playing in G to get all those Scruggs licks. But if you want to play in C, and some people say, well, I don't know how to play in C, I don't know the licks. Well, don't worry about licks, just worry about what's the melody. Play those syllables and you'll come up with something potentially like this. Or playing up the neck, again back in G if you want to do Roll My Sweet Baby's Arms. And there are a million different ways of doing that, but that's just kind of off the top of my head. But what are the words? Roll in my sweet baby's arm. Get it 7 to 9 on the first string, or you could bend the 10th fret of the second string as I did to start out that version I just played. Roll in my sweet baby's arm. So again, it helps you playing up the neck, it helps you playing down the neck, different keys. So this concept is a really major concept, and it not only applies to the banjo. I've worked with mandolin players and fiddlers trying to do this also, playing the syllables. So check it out.